The story begins by showing Keita lying in bed. Keita is trying to get up but can't because his hands are numb. It is then revealed that his sisters are sleeping with him in bed, which is why he is numb. He tries to wake them up. Eventually, one of his sisters wakes up and accidentally hits him in the face. After realizing what she just did, she tries to make her brother feel better by kissing him. Her brother is shocked and he tells her that she should be doing that stuff. She proceeds by telling him that she knows that he actually likes it because he never tries to resist. After she realizes that her brother can't get up, she gets a brilliant idea. Out of nowhere, she starts kissing her brother intimately. Just like any other man in this situation, she discovers that Keita's cucumber got bigger. Downstairs, Keita's mother is asking him if he has woken up. Keita's sister gets up and tells her other sister Riko that she should stop faking her sleep and get up. After her sister leaves, Riko tells her brother that it's unfair that she never gets to kiss him. She proceeds to kiss him as well. It doesn't stop there. She wants to make the experience more unique, so she starts tickling her brother in an uncomfortable place. She then gets up and helps her brother to get changed. Keita tells her that she needs to stop because it makes him feel uncomfortable. Riko only stops after seeing her brother's Johnson. Embarrassedly, Keita comes downstairs to meet his mother. His father tells him that he's too noisy in the morning and asks him what he's messing around with. Ako, his other sister, tells her mother enthusiastically that she just kissed her brother after a very long time. Her mother tells her that she noticed that she was more energetic than usual. She asks her whether or not she will marry Keita in the future. The father tells them both that they shouldn't bother about that kind of stuff and that they should just play hard. Keita questions his parents' morality. After a while, the father calms down and tells Keita that he can enjoy his free time, but that he shouldn't let his studies slide. Thank God the Asian parent inside of him returned. After realizing what time it is, Keita gets up and puts on his shoes to leave for school. His sisters ask him why he won't go to their school, which is only 3 minutes away. Keita tells them that he'd rather not get all stressed from studying for entrance exams and that he'd rather pass easily at his school. Riko and Ako start crying because they only chose to go to their average level high school because they thought that their brother would go to it as well. Later, Keita is shown running to his school. He once again asks himself why his family is so weird and disgusting. It appears that Keita is the only normal person in his family. While processing everything that just happened, he hits his head against the back of a truck. Traumatized by this experience, Keita goes to school while recalling all of the things that just happened to him. His friends hit him with a book as they remind him that the entrance exam studies are around the corner. Keita asks his friends what school they applied to. All of them say enthusiastically that they applied for the same school as Keita's sisters. Keita questions their choice, but they tell him that he wouldn't understand since they're his sisters. Keita, however, can't believe this. One of the boys tells him to shut up since it's still better than being unmotivated and settling in with a recommendation like him. Back at home, Keita wonders what the guys meant by unmotivated. His sister approaches him and asks what he's doing. She asks whether or not she excites him. Keita, being the good brother that he is, tells his sister that she shouldn't do things like that in public. Riko, however, tells him that he is the only person that she would do something like this for. Ako approaches at the same time and causes Riko to run away. Keita gets up and is about to go to his room, but Ako stops him by showing him something special. Keita asks her in what kind of world sisters do something like this and asks her to please quit doing this. Ako once again gets depressed because her plan failed. When all hope seems lost, she starts thinking about her special item. In the next scene, Ako is seen singing while cooking lunch for her brother. Riko appears behind her and begins cooking lunch as well. The two begin discussing how they will charm Keita with their cooking skills. Ako begins to laugh after seeing Riko's cooking skills. Riko drops a vegetable on the ground. Ako then notices that her sister is wearing Keita's pants. She gets furious and asks Riko why she's wearing them. Riko ends up trying to get away. The two get into a fight, which causes their beloved brother to wake up. He goes downstairs to check on what's happening but ends up in shock after seeing his sisters. The two start fighting, but Keita decides that he doesn't want to deal with this and goes back to bed. Ako succeeds in retrieving the pants and ends up falling in love with them. The parents of the sisters approach them and say that Keita went off to school without even having breakfast. A half-sleeping and depressed Keita is then shown at school. His friend tells him that he can't possibly be depressed knowing that he has his sister's comfort. Out of nowhere, Ako enters her brother's classroom and gives him his lunch. Keita starts screaming at her, but then Riko approaches him and gives him her lunch as well. All of the boys in Keita's class notice Ako and they all form a big circle around her. Keita once again gets angry at her sister and tells her to leave. Riko roasts Keita by telling him that it's okay since he's the only one who is allowed to behave like a baby around her. All of the boys start laughing and Keita becomes embarrassed. Keita finally has enough and releases his anger at his sisters. Akko reveals that she is in love with him. Riko reveals that she's also in love with him. Both of them tell him that they don't just love him because he is their brother, but because he's the one they actually love. Keita gets in shock but once again becomes furious and he tells his sister to leave him alone. Defeated, they start walking away. With tears in their eyes, they tell Keita that they're sorry and leave. His classmates immediately start talking about what just happened. They call it disgusting and start laughing. Keita tells everyone to stop talking nonsense. Everyone tells him that they know everything they need to know. In an attempt to stop the laughter, he tells everyone that he and his sisters aren't related to each other, and therefore nobody should give a damn. Keita runs away to his sisters and tells them that he's sorry. The sisters are relieved to hear this and tell him that he doesn't have to apologize. Riko says that they felt lonely because he was going to a school far away starting next year. Akko says that they just wanted to stay together. After a moment, Keita says that they won't feel lonely because he has decided to stay with them after all, but under one condition. The sisters have to promise Keita that they will let him focus on his studies. In an expression of happiness, the sisters jump on their brother. Akko even goes as far as to kiss him. The two get into a fight again while everyone is looking. Riko tries to drag Keita away to a secret location. Akko, however, roasts Riko epically. The two get into a fight once again. Keita, who finally woke up from the fall, sees this. He becomes very happy from the two arguing. The next thing we see is Keita and his sisters on the beach. Keita just caught a baby octopus. The parent octopus sees this and becomes very angry. In order to teach him a lesson, he grabs his sisters and starts punishing them. This is when Keita wakes up from his dream and notices that Akko is kissing him on the lips. Keita tries to stop her, but Akko responds by saying good morning. Keita gets mad as usual, but Akko says that it's just a little morning kiss. Akko tells him that it's the only way to wake him up early and takes off his blanket. Next, we see Riko, who is lying next to Keita. Akko gets furious at her sister, but Riko doesn't pay any attention to her. But Riko says that she just wants her brother to feel good and ends up kissing Keita as well. After getting out of bed, Keita gets ready to go to school. His mother approaches and reminds him that he hasn't had breakfast yet. He tells her that he doesn't have time to eat. Her mother calmly says that it's okay since both of them crashed into the middle of school and confess their love to Keita. Upon finding out, Keita spits out his water and asks his mother how she knows that. She tells him that it's the current rumor going around the neighborhood and that she actually didn't know about it at all. Keita becomes frozen knowing that his own mother outsmarted him. Both mother and the father ask the children how they confess their love to Keita. Father tells Keita that there's nothing wrong with it if you're not blood related and that kind of love is accepted quite well. The siblings start staring at each other as their parents start cuddling. The mother then tells Keita that he needs to decide between Akko and Riko. Keita gets disturbed by hearing this. The parents reveal that they have placed bets on who Keita will choose. Keita says that they need to stop playing with their own child and leaves. At school, the boy looks completely exhausted. His friends start making fun of him and ask if he was studying all night. He answers by saying that his sisters kept him up. His friends start imagining what the experience must have been like and tell him that he's a very lucky man. Keita starts thinking about his sisters but stops. When Keita returns home, he is once again greeted by his sisters who are seeking his attention. Akko says that she's seeking his attention because she doesn't get much of it anymore. Keita says that he doesn't have much time because he's studying. She tries to charm Keita by finishing the deed, but he refuses. Then Riko tries to make her move by holding her brother's hand. Akko notices this and kisses him first. Keita gets annoyed by his sisters and decides to take a bath. The sisters sigh in despair. In bath, Keita notices that he can't wash himself because his hand is still sprained from the injury that he sustained at school. He then gets reminded that his sisters can wash him, because after all, he no longer feels bad about being kissed by them. But then a moment of realization strikes him. He finally realizes that he sees his sisters as girls instead of sisters. It makes him feel disgusted. He tries to get up but Riko opens the door at the same time. However, he ends up slipping and passing out. He later wakes up and notices a letter on his bed from Akko. In the letter, Akko apologizes for everything that happened and says that she can't face him, she's too embarrassed, and tells him that he just needs to understand the feeling of being in love. Keita is confused. Watch this next video and I'll see you next time.